The evening sun was sinking low across the quiet neighborhood as Officer James wrapped up what he thought would be a shift without incident. The gentle hum of the patrol car felt almost soothing until a sudden, desperate noise sliced through the calm, the unmistakable cry of a child. He turned his head just in time to see a little girl, no more than 6 years old, running toward his car with tears streaking her cheeks, her tiny hands trembling as she tried to speak through sobs. Her pink dress was wrinkled, her hair messy as if she'd been running for some time, and her voice shook with urgency as she pleaded, "Please follow me home." There was something in her eyes, a mix of fear, desperation, and hope that told him this wasn't just a child having a rough day. This was a cry for help. And every instinct in him screamed that he couldn't ignore it. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion, please take a moment to share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps us continue to bring heart-touching stories like this to life. James didn't hesitate. He stepped out of the car, crouched to her level, and assured her he was there to help. Her small hand tugged at his urgently, urging him to follow. Her pace was quick, filled with tension. She barely spoke along the way, only glancing back now and then to make sure he was keeping up. The route wound through narrow suburban streets, each step tightening the knot in his chest. The closer they drew to her destination, the more subtle signs he noticed that something was wrong. The houses here were older, some with peeling paint, and the air was heavy with silence, broken only by the little girl's hurried footsteps. When they reached the house, his heart sank. It was small, the yard overgrown, the front door left slightly ajar, and no movement inside. The girl pointed toward the interior, her voice quivering as she whispered that her mommy was inside and wouldn't wake up. James felt his chest tighten as he carefully stepped in. Dim light revealed a living room marked by struggle, empty food containers, scattered bills, and a faint odor of stale air. Following her lead, he entered a small bedroom where a young woman, barely in her 20s, lay motionless on the bed. James checked her pulse. She was alive, but weak, her breathing shallow. He quickly realized she wasn't simply asleep. She was in urgent need of medical help. While calling for an ambulance, he spoke softly to the little girl, asking gentle questions to keep her calm. Her name was Emily. Between quiet sobs, she told him her mother had been sick for days, that she tried to make her soup but couldn't reach the stove, and that she'd been too scared to leave her side until she realized she needed help. That's when she saw the police car. Paramedics arrived quickly, taking the young woman to the hospital. Emily clung to James's uniform, unwilling to let go as fear consumed her. He promised her he'd stay until her mother was safe, driving her to the hospital. He held her small hand as they entered the waiting area. The hours dragged by, the sterile hospital air heavy, but James stayed. Eventually, a doctor emerged with news Emily's mother, Sarah, had collapsed from severe exhaustion, dehydration, and untreated pneumonia. She'd been working herself to the limit, holding multiple jobs, neglecting her own health to care for her daughter. As James listened, he couldn't shake the image of that small, cluttered home and the stack of unpaid bills. It was clear Sarah had been quietly struggling for a long time, too proud or too afraid to ask for help. Emily sat silently nearby, hugging her knees, glancing up each time a nurse passed, as if hoping for news. James knelt beside her, assuring her he would see that everything turned out okay. In the days that followed, as Sarah recovered, James visited often. Emily began to smile more, comforted by his presence. He learned that Sarah had been abandoned by Emily's father, left alone with no family nearby. She'd been taking cleaning jobs, working late nights, all while hiding her struggles from everyone. James knew that if nothing changed, their lives would slide back into hardship once Sarah left the hospital. Quietly, he reached out to local charities, community members, and fellow officers. Within days, donations of food, clothing, and money began pouring in. When Sarah was finally well enough to return home, she found it cleaned, stocked with fresh groceries, and already undergoing repairs. Tears streamed down her face as she realized she wasn't alone anymore. Emily's smile that day was the brightest James had seen. She hugged her mother tightly, then wrapped her arms around him, whispering a soft thank you that he knew he would carry in his heart for years. The neighborhood, moved by the story of a brave little girl and a community's compassion, continued to check in on Sarah and Emily. Sarah found a stable job with fewer hours, giving her more time with Emily, and their bond grew stronger. One evening, James stood outside their home, watching Emily play in the yard while Sarah chatted with neighbors. He realized this wasn't just a single rescue. It was hope, proof that even the smallest voices, like Emily's plea that day, could lead to life-changing kindness. If this story touched your heart, please share, and subscribe to Seeds of Rose. It helps us keep sharing these powerful reminders that kindness still exists in the world.